Sunrise Extra on a Tuesday, and we got the whole team in boxes this morning as usual. Good morning to you. We are getting some promising news from some of those fires. A lot of people were posting pictures last night of like little teeny pockets of blue sky. Some people saw the real life sun, not this tiny little red orbit in the sky. So I want to, Drew is out at Clackamas Town Center talking with a lot of wonderful people who had to evacuate and the folks helping them. We're going to get to you second, Drew. I want to check in with Rod first. Sure. When can we get some relief, some raindrops, some smoke out of here?
Well, you know, this morning, Drew, in fact, down at Clackamas Town Center said, hey, Rod, we had a little bit of rain. There's this low pressure center that is studying out the shore, and that it will produce some showers throughout the day at the coast. I think most of us here in Portland and Salem and Vancouver will stay dry today, but we now have entered the zone of rain chances. So with that said, one of our big stories continues to be, if we can take the map, the air quality warning that is posted right now until noon on Thursday. Now, see the bright red color up around Battleground? There are some pockets that are seeing improving air quality. That's still unhealthy. The colors over Portland are still generally near the hazardous line. But overall, we've seen the numbers a little bit lower than they have been, so that's good news. And Nina mentioned some filtered sun that broke out yesterday afternoon. We think we'll see that here in the Portland area this afternoon as well. And that filtered sun warmed Portland to 74 yesterday. I have us to 75 today. Now, that thick smoke plume, kind of interesting, guys, as you look at the 7-day, actually looks like it's going to settle back over the valley tomorrow. So tomorrow will be back to pretty dark. And then we have the rains picking up Thursday. Most of the rain that comes in is Thursday night, Friday. And still thinking that there could be some widespread rain with that of 1/4 inch of rain or more. That would be fantastic. And that would really start to mix up the smoke plume for the first time and break it up and start to shred it in some ways and give us days and days ahead of much better air quality than what we have been seeing. So there's some bright news on the horizon, guys.
Yep, you put a smile on my face on that one, Rod. Thank you. Drew, I miss you here in studio, but I have to say your reporting there at Clackamas Town Center this morning has been stellar. You have been talking to people who have just impressed the heck out of me with the way that they're helping each other and really just explaining the need of the evacuees when they flee these wildfires.
Sure. You know, just to paint the picture and to give our viewers an idea of the setup here at Clackamas Town Center, you know, I live like 10 minutes from here, but I had not been to the parking lot. And behind me, I know that it does not look that impressive as far as the number of RVs that are here because thankfully, really thankfully, over the last 24 hours, the parking lot has thinned out. There were, just a couple of days ago over the weekend, more than 100 RVs here, mainly evacuees from other parts of Clackamas County, evacuees with RVs, and the town center was great enough to lend their parking lot to those evacuees who have been set up here. One person, and it's really two, but her husband does not want to be on camera this morning, which I understand, I get that. There are strong silent types in my family as well. But Debbie, let me bring you into the mix. We don't have your husband Joe, but we do have your dog Wink.
We have Wink.
So Debbie has been here since last Tuesday, you told me. We're talking about a week now. And I thought it was interesting because I said, where is Debbie from? She's from Welch's. Well, geez, Welch's has never really left any further than a level 1. We're getting rained on, aren't we?
Yes, that's wonderful.
An update for Rod Hill. It is now, earlier it rained a little bit, didn't really mess up the hair product at all. Now it's starting to rain a little bit harder, Rod. So, and we're not complaining out here in Happy Valley. We're happy about the rain. But Debbie, you are from Welch's. Welch's has never been past a level 1 evacuation order, but yet you came here anyway. I'll let you explain again why.
My son is a wildland firefighter, my son-in-law, and he told me to take it seriously because of the winds. So he said, if it's a level 1, get prepared. As we were preparing, I kept updating the evacuation zones, and the red kept jumping, bypassing 2 altogether. And once it got up to Highway 26 in Sandy, I worried that if the fire got there, it would trap us and block us off from being able to get into Clackamas where our daughter is. And she was a couple blocks from a level 2. So if she needed to evacuate, we wanted to be able to help.
I have 3 things I want to do here. I don't even know which one I want to do first. For starters, do you think if you looked up at the sky and yelled to rain harder, it would work? Do you think that might work?
Maybe.
You want to give it a shot?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Rain harder!
Poor dog.
I think it's working. I think it's working. Wink is just chilling there. It's okay, Wink.
That's
This interview
bad.
will be over shortly, but your owner has a lot of great information for us, and some of the information has to do with the other people who have been here over the past week. We actually have some pictures that show just how busy this place was at times over the last 5 to 6 days. And you were talking about everyone has a different circumstance. Everyone has a different situation. Can you talk again about some of the unique situations that you ran into here? Because you said you talked to at least every one of the evacuees here, more than 100 RVs in all. You talked to all of them at least a half dozen times.
Yes. There were so many people here with so many different stories from a lot of different parts, a lot of Estacada, especially at first. But we would have people here where we had a family with, well, multiple families with 8 children all together, and all they had was cars. No tents. They were sleeping on the ground, literally underneath a tarp. So other evacuees gave them their camping tents. And they had 2 tents. We got them set up. We got toys, we got food, we got jackets for them. We had a family of 4, 2 of which were on dialysis. And so we were able to provide them with shelter here, again, because of another evacuee. And we were able to have a nurse provide them with the transportation, the medical transportation to get them to their dialysis. And eventually, here towards the end, we were able to get them into a hotel with meal vouchers and, still with their transportation to their dialysis. But they were more frail. They wouldn't have even been able to be in a tent on the ground.
I know you were saying earlier it was important for you to kind of see that story through, and we did have a great ending there for that particular story. In those pictures we were showing, you can see the supplies that began to pile up. But where did all those supplies come from? Just people in the community?
It was an absolute outpouring of love from this community. I was absolutely astounded. Young people, the Salvation Army was bringing in supplies, and they provided us with cooked meals, hot meals, and coffee in the morning. And if I needed a generator because somebody needed a CPAP, Salvation Army provided that. So the people that came in, it was car after car, sometimes truck after truck. The pile of water got bigger than almost than we can manage.
Sure.
And the food just kept coming and coming, and supplies, blankets, pillows, tents, air mattresses, diapers, baby food. I mean, you name it. And then they actually started asking more. What do you need? They drop off a big supply. What do you need? And so then I could start saying tents, air mattresses, that sort of thing. I had a gal, Catherine, texted me, okay, I'm making another run. She was given money by a lot of people that she knows, co-workers, friends, and she was taking that money, asking me what we need. I said, we need tents and air mattresses. I ended up with a pile.
Do you know where Catherine's from?
She's here in the community.
She's okay, because we could give her a shout out this morning. Maybe she's watching. Catherine, thank you.
Thank you. You're a rock star.
I don't know. Should we test your skills, Chad? It's Chad's. He's on the tripod here, but can we spin it around? Because we just talked about the Salvation Army. Thank you, pal.
There they are.
The Salvation Army has been here. Debbie was here first, admittedly, but the next day, the next day, the Salvation Army was here as well.
Captain Mike.
Captain Mike.
Major Bob.
Major Bob. There's your husband again, the man who does not want to be seen on camera is seen on camera
Got
now.
Got him. Hey, Drew, we have a question for you when you're ready.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay,
Yes?
so Jennifer
Yes, I'm
Taft, one of our awesome regular viewers, she says, Drew, can you ask
Yes.
her, do they need any like children's books or anyone to read to kids? She does preschool in the park, usually on Wednesdays, and it's canceled because of the air quality, but she'd love to read to any kiddos that are there. What does Debbie need now?
Sure, I understand the question. I apologize, Jennifer. I cannot ask that this morning. What's the next question? I'm kidding, of course. Jennifer Taft is one of our regular viewers on the Sunrise Extra stream, and she said that she was wondering if you guys need people to read to kids, because it's something she does on a regular basis. Hasn't been able to do that this week with the fires, but is there a need for people even to read to kids?
That would have been fabulous days ago when we had way more children here. But as you mentioned earlier, people are allowed to go back home. The firemen have gotten fire lines into the cities, and so a lot of people have left here, and I really don't see too many children here anymore. So the families that had children here before, yes. As a matter of fact, Dennis Curtis from the mall was talking about setting up videos like cartoons, and videos up in the food court for the kids so they could have like a Sunday morning cartoons or something. But yeah, that would have been great.
I said earlier to our producer, Celeste Ruiz, I said, hey, let Brenda and Rod and Nina know, if need be, I could do the entire Sunrise Extra with Debbie, because she has lots of information.
Yeah.
I haven't even asked you about her son-in-law, who is one of the firefighters fighting the Riverside fire. So actually, if you don't mind, can I ask her about that right now? Do we have time for a quick update?
Sure.
In that, because your son-in-law is the one who gave you that early warning last Tuesday saying, hey, don't wait for the level 2 or level 3. You might want to get out now if you want to be down here near your daughter.
Right.
You've been in communication with him. He's on the front lines fighting the Riverside fire. So what's the latest you've heard from him?
The latest pretty much is that they're hoping that the wind is going to, the rain is going to kind of put down that fire just a little bit, or at least the majority of the heat. They're pretty confident that the evacuation lines aren't probably going to expand too much more. They feel that they're doing a pretty good job of getting it controlled so that it's not going to advance into the cities anymore. So what's burned is burned. Hopefully it's not going to extend into the cities anymore. He said now it's pretty much heading for the hills. So they still have a lot of work to do, and there's still a lot of firefighters out there, but they're hoping for some smoke to clear so they can get more air support as well.
You know, it is difficult to know because, like the weather, right, fires are not 100% predictable. And so you can hear these words of like encouragement, I'll say. Firefighters are always hesitant to give it the complete thumbs up because they don't want to give people that false sense of hope. But the news, as you guys have been talking about all morning long, Nina, Brenda, Rod, the news has been encouraging these last few days.
Yeah.
And it definitely feels like the firefighters are definitely getting the weather on their side. So hopefully that continues here this week.
Drew, I think you and Debbie have started something when you ask her to look up to the sky and, holler for rain. So Katie Heisman is weighing in. She's left a little poem for us. Rain is good. Rain is fun. Rain, something for everyone. Everybody's talking about rain. Jerome says so heartwarming to see all of our community come together. And then Tori asks about donating, and that's something that's really important. You can see right there on the corner of our screen. If you text the word relief to that phone number, 503-226-5088, we'll send you a link to the Red Cross where you can donate to wildfire relief. And it does stay here, Nina, in Oregon and Washington to help those folks.
Yeah, and just kind of a timely update today, the smoke is so bad that Alaska Airlines, at least, they're the only airline we've heard of so far, are temporarily stopping all flights in and out of PDX until at least 3 o'clock today. So if you or someone you know are flying through the airport, there may be some other carriers that are affected by this smoke and visibility. You can go to flypdx.com to see the latest on that. Also, I was just seeing an update. A lot of people know and love Brighton Bush Hot Springs. This is down in the Beachy Creek fire zone. It's right, around the corner from Detroit. I've passed it many times. I've never actually gone there, but we have found out about half of the buildings there have been lost to fire. But the good news is their historic lodge, their kitchen, and their office buildings all survived. But all 42 guest cabins, their sanctuary, a healing arts building, and several workshops were destroyed in the fire. The Oregonian, Brenda, I was reading this to you, amazing story of 2 community members who stayed behind as everyone else evacuated, and 3 local firefighters who stayed there for 48 hours putting water on those buildings, and were able to save a lot of that Brighton Bush Hot Springs, a place that a lot of people have gone to visit.
That is absolutely amazing. When we talk about donations, because there are so many things that people need, maybe you can't afford to donate because everybody can't, and that's okay. But we were talking before the show, would you take the post and share it? Maybe post it on your own page? Mm-hmm. There are lots of ways to get involved and help our neighbors who are going through this catastrophic time.
Okay, Rod, I want to check in last time with you, because if people kind of are just tuning in, everyone wants to know, when is the smoke getting out of here? We may see a little window today, but then it sounds like it kind of comes back temporarily, huh?
Yeah, Brian, can we just real quick go to the maps? Everybody's going, rain, rain, and here's that little, dribble, but it's something. You can see the lines of a light shower outside of Salem, and then Drew's down there in the Clackamas Town Center. A little bit of rain, it looks like, in the Gateway area and out toward Troutdale as well, Tillamook, Longview. Anything is good news. The bulk of the rain that we're going to get, though, comes in the latter part of Thursday, and we could actually see periods of widespread rain Thursday overnight into Friday. And there's still hope that we get 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 of an inch, and this model actually shows that being possibility through Friday evening at 8:30 p.m. That would bring big relief. You know, today we're getting a little bit of a thinning of the smoke like we saw yesterday. But look at the magenta colors. This actually brings the thicker smoke back over to Portland tomorrow. But then we get the rains Thursday night into Friday, and look how that smoke plume going into Saturday just really starts to shred itself out and disperse and move out of our area in terms of any large thick smoke areas. So this weekend we think big improvement in what we're going to see visually, and hopefully that will mean some fairly large improvement in the overall air quality this weekend going into the first part of next week as well. For now, the air quality alert still in place until noon Thursday. We still have some hazardous spots out there on the reporting sites this morning, but there are some improved areas as well, guys. Back to you.
So, Rod, real quick, Annabelle Jones is on our stream, and she asks, any concern with thunder and lightning?
Good question.
So, I don't think so, but let me clarify. We look at a lot of things to determine if lightning's possible. We're going to be unstable enough for that to happen Thursday night into early Friday morning. The particulates, the added particulates that the smoke is putting in the atmosphere can actually increase instability. Now, with that said, if you just look at the overall weather pattern, I would think, no, the chances will be pretty slight. So I don't think that's something right now we have to overly worry about. Fingers crossed.
Good. Okay. Let's see. Is there any organized effort for material donations? I know Salvation Army has been taking, what was it, Pedialyte? Who was taking that?
That's right. It was Estacada.
Estacada, yeah.
The
Firefighters
volunteers said that they were actually afraid of, running out of that hydration, electrolytes, all that good stuff.
Yeah, it's easy to, donate a little bit of cash and they can kind of put it to where it would need to go. So, all right, keep an eye to the sky. Hopefully more raindrops come and we see a little bit of that sunshine and the smoke get out of here. So thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for donating to that Red Cross Fund. We will see you tomorrow.